Hi, Momo.
Hi, Simon. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? That's the more important thing.
I'm good too, thanks.
Are you ready to do your first speech?
I'm a bit nervous.
Don't be nervous. Why should you be nervous?
Yeah.
You're amongst friends.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
what's the worst we can do to you? Throw tomatoes? Sorry, I'm just moving my laptop.
Sure.
Yeah, that's better. Yeah, there's nothing to worry about.
Yeah, sure. Because I think I have never done it, so I'm just a bit worried.
No. I mean, be yourself.
Yeah, sure.
That's the most important thing. And everyone's got their own style.
Yeah.
Don't try and be somebody else, because people can pick that up quite easily.
Sure.
And also it makes it difficult for you to think, because you're trying to adopt this persona and style at the same time as trying to remember what you are speaking about.
Sure.
So
hi, Tanuj.
Hey, Momo.
Hi, Tanuj.
Hey, Simon. Hi.
Hey.
Yeah.
Tanuj.
There was some very deep conversation going on.
Tanuj, have you got some Vaseline on your lens? It looks sort of slightly blurry.
So I have started a new job, Simon, and I'm using the work laptop. And for some reason, it didn't allow me to install Zoom on it. So I'm logging in through a browser at the moment.
So, well, congratulations! I saw the notification.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a bit of a whirlwind in the previous role, so I thought let me do with some change of environment. How are you guys doing?
Okay. Is it a startup?
Sorry?
Is it a startup?
Sorry, say that again.
Is it a startup?
No. I've joined GlaxoSmithKline.
Oh, GSK.
Yeah. So yeah. I mean, it's a contract role, so not like I'm their staff member. So.
Because LinkedIn said you were a director of.
So that's my own limited company. So essentially, so what has happened is just to share with you. So I left my previous role a bit abruptly. I had an altercation with my manager, and I was like, okay, I can't sustain this, so I'll leave. So officially, I finished working with them mid of last month, but my official tenure with them was till mid of this month. So I thought, okay, maybe I should not put out that I've landed a new job right now, because I didn't know any better. So for now, I put it as my own limited company, for which I continue to do assignments and other freelance work. So no harm done there. And so yeah, we'll see. But there are other things in the pipeline as well. So hopefully you'll see some more changes on LinkedIn soon enough. So in a good way.
So does that mean you can walk to work?
I can, yes. Technically I can. And literally, so I did go to office yesterday, but I went on my bike. But I can walk to work. I used to walk even when I was in Ealing. So now it's, of course, closer.
Yes, much closer.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Okay.
How are you doing, Momo? I know I've been a bit out of action for the last few days, but we need to pick up some conversations, especially with your new role. Have you managed to have any catch up with Amit yet?
Not yet.
Okay, no worries. I think he's also.
I think he wasn't well.
Correct. Yeah. So it's been a bit of that phase where not everything is falling in line, but don't worry, we've got you. And what I would do is, as I mentioned in the WhatsApp message, we started to put together like a list of all the activities that each club officer needs to do. And soon enough, we'll arrange proper training for you. That will be from our side, kind of a handover. But there is a formal training that will be arranged by the district as well. So So you're in good hands, and we are around to offer any and all help that you need. So don't worry about that.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
Anyways, I'm just quickly gonna check how are we doing on the agenda. I know today is one of the skimpy meetings because not many people are joining in. So Simon, how are things at your end? I know we spoke last time just before the meeting. Did your friend, you said something about your friend returning, and only then you'll figure out if you're gonna join him or not, something like that.
Well, I was in the Zoom meeting today, company meeting,
Okay.
and I just sent him a chasing reminder.
Right.
So we need to get together and speak. But he's in Luxembourg for 10 days. Then he'll come back and self-quarantine.
Okay.
And then head back out again. So, yeah, it's softly catchy monkey, I think, as they say. Or something similar to that. Was it, sorry, slowly catchy monkey.
Okay. I've not heard of it, but I can relate to that for sure. Hi, Reena, Hinish.
Hi, guys.
I suppose that's Dill, but we'll find out.
Yeah, I thought it was Dill. Didn't realize it.
Yeah, it must be somebody of her
Good evening.
in her family who's. Hey, Reena.
Hi, Nish. Hi, Irina.
Hi, Flora.
Hey everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Hi guys.
Nice to meet
Hey,
you.
Sumit. Just a second. How's everyone doing? Sumit, Nish, Flora?
Surviving. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, surviving. It's good. Yeah, that's a good place to start for sure.
I'm
How's things
tempted
with
to
you?
say thriving.
Sorry, I lost both of you there. Sumit, you said something, and I think Nish also quickly came up with something, so I couldn't make out what both
Okay,
of
go
you
ahead,
said.
Nish.
No, I was just saying that I was tempted to say thriving, but that would be a lie. But this is just to cheer up everyone.
No. See, somebody has to start that kind of network effect, right? So if you say thriving, maybe everybody would start thriving for at least the meeting part, and it would kind of spread from there.
Or probably everyone else would start to feel a bit more depressed then.
Yeah, well, okay.
I'm
It's
just
very
kidding.
good. The weather is super good, so
Yes.
it's enough to make me happy, even if I haven't actually been able to be outside today. I've just been on my screen.
It was splendid. I also managed to step out for about an hour and soaked in some sun. It was really enjoyable.
Yeah.
And I think some of you know I had a short trip to India, and coming back from India, I'm enjoying a good combination of this being like a pleasant, warm weather, and of course it's cooler than what I experienced in India, but I'm really enjoying the nice warm weather.
How short was your trip to India?
Just about a week.
So you didn't have to quarantine or
So-
something, is it?
I did. So today is my first day back to
Oh, wow.
to my normal lifestyle. So I returned home yesterday.
Ah.
So yeah, So Nish has already lobbied for me to make a speech out of that experience. I might, but if any of you, I pray to God nobody has to do that. But if any of you needs to quarantine, I'm more than happy to share some tips about what to do or what not to do. It was quite some experience. So
we can benefit from his experience.
Yeah, surely. I can
police-
definitely tell you what not to do.
Do you know if
Sorry, Simon.
Did the police
with-
check up on you?
No. So I was in a quarantine hotel.
Oh, I
So
see.
I was under their kind of cover. So it was a proper kind of glorified jail
Oh dear.
for 10 days. Sorry, Flora, you were saying something.
Yeah, and I was just saying, I was wondering actually if you knew if anyone in the hotel had actually COVID. I just wonder how efficient those hotel quarantine are.
Yeah, no, I mean, there was no interaction between the passengers, so didn't really know if anybody did quarantine or not for that reason. But yeah, they were fairly efficient. I mean, there were a lot of good things about the way they ran the whole process. But of course, for somebody who's been negative, as in who didn't contract the virus, then it feels a bit of a waste, both of money, time, and energy. So
all well at your family?
Yeah, everybody's good. Thank you.
Guys, should we start the meeting? 7:32.
Yes, let's do that. And I need to get my props handy. Give me 1 second, Nish.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, doing all right. Surviving.
Are you enjoying the weather?
Kind of, from a north-facing window, yes.
Burning on one side. Oh, we're on the 3rd floor, so the heat rises.
Okay.
It's warmer inside the flat than it is outside. So
Oh God.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we can start. Hey, Ruth.
Hey,
Ruth. Welcome to Trojans.
Hello.
Okay, so I think we can make a start. We have the set number of people we were expecting. Amit is not able to be here, so I would be looking after the agenda aspects, and I think we've got everybody who's playing a critical role. So let's make a start.
Hello, good evening, and welcome to Toastmasters on this rather depleted membership evening. Also, because we're members, it seems pointless me going through the ground rules, other than to remind people to obviously switch off your microphone when not speaking. Apart from that, avail yourself of plenty of cold drinks, enjoy the evening, and a little bit to add excitement to tonight's table topics. I've actually got some quite challenging questions, which I'm going to pick each person individually for the appropriate question. So watch out, beware, I don't take prisoners. Regardless of that, let me hand you over to our president, Tanuj Saluja.
Thank you, Simon. I think today I have the honors to practically speak to all of you individually. So we don't have any outsider as guest. Of course, Ruth is one of us, and there are a few things that I want to cover before we kick off the meeting. Number one is this is one of the last few meetings that the current club officers will be running. I want to take today's opportunity, as well as I'll take that opportunity the next meeting as well, to thank all the club officers who've contributed in the club affairs and helped us steer the club through these challenging times. And I congratulate the new club officers that have put their names forward, who have put their names forward for the upcoming year. And there is a bit of a surprise. I would still wait for a few more people to drop in if they would. If not, we would still proceed with that, because we might have amongst us a new president for the next year. So we'll talk about that maybe before we break out for the network break. So that's number one. Number two thing I wanted to cover was Rina Silva, one of our club members. She is supporting the Brentford Football Club with a community activity. And as part of that activity, she has approached Trojans to participate and contribute to the club by running a workshop for the youth that are participating in that group. I will be sharing some details with you. We are looking for some volunteers to come forward. The sessions are scheduled throughout the month of July and early August. I believe it's either on Mondays or Tuesdays. So we need to see if we can make ourselves available for 1 to 3 hours, come to the said venue and talk to these young members of the community and share what public speaking or general communication skills are all about. So if any one of you is interested, if you want to showcase that as one of the things that you did as a side project, or if you generally want to help out the community, please approach me or Rina, and we would be sharing more details with you. And since this sits kind of on the cusp of the committee's handover, we would, of course, nominate the required club officers to drive it going forward. That's that. And lastly, I think Nish has brought it to our attention through the WhatsApp group, and Amit has been sending reminders, etc. Please come to the meetings as much as you can, participate as much as you can, because every one of us has an influence to how we enrich the experience of the club meetings. I know it's a good day to be out, but let's see if we can keep the core of the club going. And I'm sure Nish and the new committee would ensure that, when I say Nish, because she's the new VPPR, she's going to ensure that we attract more people to the club and drive this attendance upwards from here. And I'll be supporting her through that, through those activities. With that, I bring forward our Toastmaster for today's meeting, Nishtha Chugh. Nish, please come on stage and share with us what you have planned for us tonight. Nishtha Chugh, everybody.
What sets human beings apart from robots and animals? Okay, here's a clue.
Conscience.
Sorry?
Conscience.
Yes. But thinking. Okay, anyone else? Well, robots haven't reached the level of conscience and thinking that humans have been blessed with. Okay, here's a clue. Humans have something very special. Most animals don't have it, except orangutans and chimpanzees and monkeys. And robots are trying to develop it. And the day they develop it might be the end of the human beings' domination of the world. So let's hope we don't have that Terminator type scenario or apocalypse that we have seen in Terminator movie series. So anyone?
Opposing thumb and fingers.
Intelligence.
Okay, hold on to that thought. Hold on to that thought. Hello and welcome to Toastmasters. tonight, in addition to our regular meeting, we will also talk about something that is very important to us. It has played a huge role in the evolution of human beings and has made us the smartest species on the planet. But it is something we don't appreciate. We don't even recognize the importance it plays in our day-to-day life and the quality of our lives. So that's what we would be talking about in addition to our regular stuff. And so let's get back to our agenda tonight. For the benefit of our guests, the meetings at Trojans are run in two parts. So the first section has prepared speeches up to 5 to 7 minutes, and then they are followed by evaluations up to 3 minutes. And in the second half, we have impromptu speech called table topics, in which you could be chosen to speak on a subject, on a random subject for up to 2 minutes. And then in addition to these speeches, we'll also have something called a grammarian report. And I'm probably jumping ahead of myself. So to run the meeting tonight, I also have a couple of helpers here tonight. Could I please invite Tanuj back to the digital stage and tell us, you are the timekeeper for the meeting tonight. Why do we need you, Tanuj? Why do we need you tonight?
Yes. Thank you, Nish. Why do you need me? Well, everybody needs time. All of us are, running helter-skelter to find time and make time for things. But today, I would probably be on the other side of the spectrum, helping you to make time by showing you when to slow down and possibly conclude your speeches. For the benefit of the guests, all our speeches and the meeting components are timed based on the agenda. And I would be flagging using some props. So I have some of my son's books that I've borrowed. So I'll be flagging yellow signal because I'm little constrained by my technology today. So I'm using these as my props. So this would come up when the first time stop comes up. Sorry, the green one. Then the yellow at the second time stop, and the red one at the third time stop. And after the red, you have 30 seconds to conclude. And if you don't, I would make some kind of a annoying sound to make you aware that you really need to cut it there. But beyond that, I would try to also keep the meeting on time, which we've not done so far, but hopefully we'll recover because we have a short meeting tonight. And that's about it. So over to you, Nish. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanuj. And now I'd like to invite Flora, our grammarian for this evening, to the digital stage. Flora, what is it you will be doing tonight?
Thank you, Nish. Yes, I'm the grammarian tonight. That means that I will be listening to the speeches, to the table topic, and report on the good use of language. So praising the member, about how they've make use specific words or use some comparison, some interesting metaphor. I will also watch out if there's any area for improvements. So any misuse of grammar, misuse of word, or a lot of hums in speeches as well. That's something I'll track. The third thing that I do and that we do in Toastmasters is I come up with the grammarian come up with the word of the day. And that is make it a bit fun for the speaker to just try to use it during their speeches. So tonight I'm actually also interested to hear about vivid words. So vivid words are words that the speaker will use to paint actually a picture in the reader's mind. And I thought I'll use one that I've actually discovered recently, which is lull. So lull can be a noun or can be a verb, and that's actually show or give you the idea of a short period of calm in which little thing happens or lack of activity. So for example, after the summer lull, business has picked up again this month. When it's used as a verb, it's actually telling you that it's something that caused someone to feel calm, safe, or sleepy. So, for example, the motion of the car almost lulled her to sleep. So I will be reporting on how many speakers have used this word that I quite like, and or other good users of language. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Flora. we'll try our best to make sure we don't lull you into sleep, and that's for our guests. And I encourage our guests to use the chat function if you have any questions. If there's anything you don't understand, we reread the chats, and all the members read the chats. And if you have any question, please feel free to type it here, ask us, try to participate as much as possible so that you can enjoy this meeting as much as possible. Now it's time for our first speaker, but before I invite our first speaker to the digital stage, I'd like to ask if anyone brought the objects I asked for prior to the meeting. Did anyone bring a pen or a toothbrush? Fantastic. Is anyone wearing a shirt? I see Sumit wearing a shirt. A comb, well done. Okay. Can I ask you guys to use a pen or a pencil? If you don't have it, pretend that you have it and you're writing your name. Okay, Cam has it, I can see. So you have the thing that animals and robots don't have. Tanuj has it. Okay. Can you pretend you can brush your teeth? Yeah, pretty much everyone has it. Try and open a jar. I've got a jar of chilies, so I'm gonna try. Yeah, this holds the clue to my question that I'm asking everyone. And try to button your shirt or do your fly or try to wear your socks. Yeah, does anyone know what I'm talking about? If you do, I'd say hold on to it. We'll come back to it after our first speaker. And that brings me to our first speaker, Momo. She is giving her icebreaker speech, which is always exciting. This is a proper formal introduction to our members. I'm always excited by the icebreakers. And to give us the objectives of Momo's speech, I'd like to invite her evaluator, Cam Baines, to the digital stage. Cam, tell us, what is Momo's objective today through her speech?
Good evening, everyone. So I will be evaluating Momo, who's doing her first speech. It's the icebreaker speech, and she will be completing number 1 from the presentation mastery manual. Her speech will be between 4 to 6 minutes. She can deliver on any topic. It's an intro to the club using any style that appeals to her. So good luck, Momo, with your first speech to the club.
I'm there. With that, let's invite Momo to the stage with her speech entitled My Story Coming Out of My Bubble. Please welcome Momo.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Just before I start, can I just check? Can you hear me? Yeah. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster and fellow Trojan, and most welcome guests. Today, I'll introduce myself. My name is Momo, and I'm from Mogok, Myanmar. The place is also known as Rubiland. And I'm the middle child of the family, painfully shy, very quiet, and naturally introvert. I had a very strict parent when I was young, which resulted in me being very shielded from outside world. When I left my country back in 2010, as a very naive 18 years old woman, I had a few culture shock. My shielded upbringing means that I haven't experienced many relationships outside of my family. So starting university was an exciting, liberating, and also very terrifying time. So I used to start my day deliberately late and finishing early, just to avoid interacting with other people. Even though I love my own company, I can be a bit loner. Could not help that, but I feel something vital is missing from my life. After my graduation, I did my own online business, so I can work from home and again limiting contact with other people. So one day, out of blue, I decided to step out of my comfort zone and take a plunge to volunteer as a translator. As normal, I received a call to attend a job and off I went. However, to my utter shock and disbelief, I was faced with more than 200 people. I somehow managed to get through to the job without falling into pieces. As I was preparing to leave, a young gentleman approached me with very warm smile and very kind eye. He was full of praise of the job I have done, and he went on to inform me about Toastmaster. He was so excited and passionate about the club he was in, so I could not wait to get home and investigate further. I visited the Trojan Club back in 2019. The room was filled with energetic people and positive vibration. Wow, what an amazing experience. I could not forget until today. I became so engrossed in the first part of the meeting. So I wanted to be like all these interesting and confident people. Then table topics start. Fear creep back in. My desperate prayer for my name not to be called were not answered. I can still clearly remember the question asked of me, what makes you smile? Scared and trembling, I found myself running away from revisiting the club. It may have been signed from above whilst I was reading a book called A Gift from Father to Son. The author recommended networking and joining to Toastmaster. So I decided to go out to walk, out to the big wall. Then lockdown was upon on us. So just I start to venture out, everyone else is now going in. That is when I decided to revisit to Toastmaster. And here I am slowly but surely growing in confidence and evolving into the person I always wanted to be. And I want to thank you all for the huge part you all played in helping me. And let's hope we can travel much further together. Thank you.
Thank you, Adil, for that very heartfelt speech. And thanks for your introduction. Timekeeper, could we have a minute on the clock so that everybody could give their feedback to Momo?
Okay, that's fine.
Thank you, Tanuj. So before we move on to our second speaker of the evening, I'll come back to my puzzle. Are you ready for the answer to my puzzle? Does anyone know what I was talking about? All the things that you did are the things that make you human and the smartest species on the planet. Nah, no one? Okay, Ruth.
Manual dexterity?
You're close, but there's something very specific I'm talking about.
The motor skills.
This, literally this, our thumbs.
Oh.
This is what separates us, distinguishes us from robots and animals. And this little part on your hands, which literally you use to open doors, has opened doors for human beings on their paths to higher evolution and development. So I will be telling you a lot about this thumb that you've probably never thought about. But let's move to our next speaker for the evening. And that is Irina. Irina I'd like to invite Dil Limbu, who is evaluating Irina tonight, to tell us about the objectives of Irina's speech. Is Dil here? Dil, hi, the stage is yours.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. This evening, Irina is doing her first speech in the motivational strategy pathway. This is one of her countless speeches. However, for this speech, you'll be delivering 4 to 6 minutes of icebreaker speech on any topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Dil. With that, I'd like to invite Irina to the stage with her speech titled, Get to Know Me. Get to Know Me. Let's welcome Irina.
Nish, I wasn't prepared for that. I thought I'm the first speaker today, not the second. I'm okay. Give me 1 second. Can you hear me well? Yeah, good. I'm ready for the timekeeper. Is anyone in here who is the only child in their family? Nobody? Great, then I have some things to share with you from my own experience. I'm an only child, and I never known life in any other ways. And tonight, ladies and gentlemen, I want to share my experience of being an only child, so you can get to know me, from a different perspective. So when you think of an only child, people say you're spoiled, you may be selfish, you may be antisocial, and why not, you're lonely. So all of these stereotypes, they might be true or maybe not. I want to share some of my experience that I have to deal with. And you can have a guess if they were good or bad and how they shaped my character over the years. So starting with selfish perspective, I personally don't consider myself a selfish person. However, what I noticed is that I have a strong feeling of ownership. And what I mean by that is, let's say one case that I particularly remember very well, it was in my childhood when I, all the time during weekends, we traveled to my grandmother's house, and there was my cousins. And the first thing she was doing was to grab my bag and check my things. That was annoying me so. I was so angry and frustrated. Why do you touch my bag? This is my bag, this is my stuff, you are not allowed in there. And all the time she was finding some interesting things in there, like my face cream or my lip balm. She had to have that. And I said, no, this is my thing. I didn't understand this thing of sharing my things because they were mine and they belonged to me, not to anyone else. However, I've always been a soft person since I know myself. And I always gave up and give my things to her. She could have it. But this thing was bothering me. Sharing my stuff, not that I want to share my belongings with anyone, but particularly some of the stuff, I had a strong feeling of ownership over them. And the second example I give you is when I was 15, I started to have the idea that I want to study abroad. And I decided I want to go to high school in a different country. So I did. I had to stay in a student accommodation. And lucky for me, I had to share the room with another 6 girls. For me, that was extreme because being the only child, it's not that I had my own room. I always shared my room with my mom. By sharing the room with other 6 people, 6 strangers, to be precisely, it was a weird thing to have. And what I couldn't understand in my mind, that how people can be so easygoing. Like, I have my stuff on my table, why do you touch it? If I put it in that particular place, why would you touch it and change the position of it? If that is my stuff, that is my table, why would you touch it? So I couldn't understand this thing. For me, it was that feeling of owning the things, they belong in one place, I've put it there, don't touch it. But as the year passed by and I had to share the room 4 years in a row, I started to understand that feeling of sharing a one room, and that feeling of ownership started to get slowly get away. And the other thing I want to talk about is being an only child. My experience is that the worst part of it is overprotecting parents. And I have a good example for this as well. Every time I go out somewhere, my father in particular keeps calling me. So I don't know if there's a feeling that I'm the only child and they're gonna lose me, or something's gonna happen to me and they don't have anyone else to take care of or be with. So every time I go out and it's past 8 o'clock, it's not even 10 o'clock, it's past 8 o'clock, I receive in 10, 20 missed call. He keeps calling and calling and calling till I get answer to that phone. And if I don't answer the phone, he goes up on the street and waits me in front of my house, basically. So he can stay there for an hour just waiting for me to see where I'm gonna come home. And like I said, the sad thing that most of the people kind of feel when they're only child is that they don't have anyone to blame when the things go wrong, which in my case, it's true. However, I found out that this is only a positive thing. Why, you might ask? Because I've learned that by not having someone next to me to blame to, I take more responsibility of the things. So in life, everything that I do, I use to take responsibility of the things that I do. If they go wrong, if they go well, I take responsibility and ownership of that things. So it's not only the bad thing, it's also the positive thing in it. And to conclude my speech today is being an only child, it can have positive and negative aspects to it. However, no matter how the things goes, no matter what you see or do, these things change your character. In my situation, it allowed me to get over my ownership zone and take responsibility of the things that I'm doing in life. And this helped me to grow and be the person that I am today. So Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Irina. And can I also personally thank you for talking about all these points in your speech, because I'm the mother of the only child. He's 6. I'm not going to have another child. And I'm going to do all the things that you've just told me to annoy my kids. So thank you very much. Mr. Timekeeper, could we have a minute on the clock for the feedback to Irina?
Okay, it's time.
Thank you, Tanuj. It's now time for us to move on to our evaluations. But before I do that, I think we should play a little game. I want all of you to think about the things that cannot be done without using your thumb. So I'll give you a little list. You can't open a packet of crisp. You can't use scissors without your thumb. You can't tie your laces. You can't check your phone and swipe right on Tinder and all the dating website apps. You can't use the space bar on your laptop. You can't squeeze a lemon. And if you're a kid, you can't do this, na, 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 without your thumb. Right, all primates have hands, monkeys, chimpanzees, gorillas, but human beings, and they have thumbs, I mean to say, but humans have are the only ones amongst the primates who have the most advanced and dexterous thumbs. They have the strongest thumbs. And that, my dear, might have been the reason why we are the smartest or the most intelligent species on the planet. And we are the ones who are pretty much ruling everyone, ruling over everyone. With that thought, I'd like to move on to the evaluations. So our first evaluator is Cam Baines, who is evaluating Momo's icebreaker, My Story Coming Out of My Bubble. Please welcome Cam.
Thank you. So I'm going to start off with the key strengths of Momo's speech this evening, and then I'll give her some recommendations too. I want to start off by commending her for her courage, her heartfelt, authentic speech. It's always nerve-wracking revealing parts of yourself, and especially in your first speech. So I want to say well done, and it made the speech even more enjoyable because I really felt Momo was speaking from the heart. So the first strength was its simplicity. Momo had a clear structure. She had a linear structure, and she took us on a journey. And some of you may have heard of the hero's journey. For a lot of us, coming to Toastmasters is a bit like the hero's journey, where you start off with a problem or a challenge, and there's a call to action, and then you rise and you answer that call. And I felt like Momo really gave us the hero's journey. She told us where she started off. It was, she grew up in a strict family household, and she decided that she was gonna come out of her bubble, and certain people came into play. So she especially loved the way she spoke about this kind gentleman who introduced her to Toastmasters. And it was also relevant. That is the second thing that made the speech very memorable, because we're all Toastmasters. We've all felt the fear. We've all been pushed or answered the call. So it was quite inclusive. And I love the way she referred to us as energetic people with a positive vibration. I love that, because that's all of us here. So, you know, she included us in that way. She was coherent. I felt like her voice, her tone, the way she delivered it was coherent with the message and the story. So that brings me on to some of the recommendations. How could we take this speech to the next level? I've at certain points in the story, I didn't know if I didn't quite hear it, or for example, when Momo mentioned the country that she was born in, I didn't actually quite catch it. So my recommendation is, when Momo delivers the speech again, or her next speech, is to slow down at key points, especially if they're new to the audience, so we can grab that information. And the second point, which is about body language, is even though Momo was quite open with her body language, there was some swaying, which can prove to be distracting. So next speech, something to look out for is the swaying. But as a first speech, you're a little bit nervous and you're delivering it, so that is maybe to be expected. But overall, I felt like Momo took us on a personal journey. She revealed a part of herself. She was inclusive. And I particularly like that she actually finished off with a call to action. and she said we can travel much further together. Congratulations, Momo, on coming out of your bubble. I think you're officially out, and well done on an amazing speech. And I look forward to your next speech. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Cam. It's time for our second evaluation, but as I promised, I will be giving you lots of interesting trivia and facts about your thumbs. I encourage all of you to think about things that you cannot do without your thumbs. There's one thing that you can't do without your thumbs is that if you want to look posh, you need your thumbs, because how else will you eat your burger with fork and knife without your thumbs? With that, I'd like to invite our second evaluator of the evening, Limbu. Limbu is evaluating Irina's icebreaker, Get to Know Me. Please welcome Limbu. Dil Limbu, sorry, I apologize.
Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests, good evening. First of all, I'd like to thank Irina for delivering yet another wonderful speech. As always, she delivered with confidence, with very clear structure, beginning and middle and end. And she began her speech with a question: who here is an only child? Which immediately engaged all of us audience and brought her attention to her. The other thing that she did really well is to use the power of three, giving us 3 examples of her story and delivering it in a way that we understood. She first gave us an example, and then she explained her story, her experience and her story. To be honest with you, Irina is a very experienced speaker, and I wouldn't say there's a lot of things that I could recommend or challenge her with. She did a really great speech, as always. And the only thing that I would recommend her next time is to stand a little bit back, because she has really good body language, and she was using her hands and gesturing it in certain direction, but we couldn't see the complete picture. So the next time she gives a speech, I would like her to stand a little bit back so that we can see her, at least that part, and her hand gestures. And there's one thing that I would like to recommend her is to use a little bit more of her vocal variety. And maybe I would like to challenge her to do a little bit of drama. For example, when she said her dad kept calling her when she was out and she felt very annoying, she could actually, I would, if she had would do this speech again, I would challenge her to actually do that scenario and then make that very annoying gesture or annoying like very angry type of voice, let's say, when she is describing that that scenario or that area of her story. Overall, Irina did fantastic in her speech, and thank you very much, Irina. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you, Dil, and I apologize. I didn't say your first name, but I printed the agenda and it printed your surname first, and I kept calling you Limbu, so I apologize for that. Right. Simon gave the answer, but I think I was not quick enough to read it. So he was, I think, the first one to correctly guess what I was talking about. So he did say opposable thumbs. So opposable thumbs helped our ancestors grip, grasp, manipulate, fight, and thumbs freed up our mouths so that we could do other things with our hands, and so that we could develop language. And some scientists believe that thumbs played a huge role in the development, indirect role in the development of languages. And languages have been an important part of the human being's evolution. Thumbs have 9 individual muscles, although I couldn't count them, and they have 3 major hand nerves. Has anyone had their pulse taken by a doctor who uses like this? Yeah, they take your pulse like that. That's because our thumbs are the only fingers that have a pulse, and they are actually touching your main artery that is going into the thumb, and this is how they find out your pulse. So thumb is a very, very special part of your hand. According to some people, some experts, thumb is actually not a finger. If anybody says, how many fingers do you have in your hands? You can probably take a chance and say 4 and not 5, because apparently thumb is not considered a finger. Right, now it's time for us to welcome our guests. We have Ruth and Jackie here tonight. We would like to know what brings you to Trojan's Toastmasters meeting tonight, and so far if you have been enjoying our meeting. So could I please start with Jackie? Welcome, Jackie.
Oh, hi. I'm probably going to be joining this one permanently because I paid up the membership with GSK, but my role has been made redundant. So I live in Ealing, so I kind of thought, yeah, it would be nice to join. And I met Ruth before because Ruth was at one of the GSK Toastmasters. So and she was very kind to me of giving me lots of information. So that's me. I live in Webster Gardens, which is just off Ealing Green. And I'm having a glass of wine here, and I'm so sorry that I had to restart my computer twice. Normally it doesn't happen, but anyway, yeah. And I just put into the chat when the lady talked about having been an only child. I was one of 8. And when I ran away from home and the policeman brought me back, my mother didn't even realize that I'd run away. And the policeman was disgusted with her, you know, so anyway. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, Jackie, and welcome to our meeting. And I read your answer. You cannot thread a needle without your thumb. That was an excellent one. And now let's go to Ruth. Ruth, you are a regular visitor of our meetings, but let's just ask you again, what brings you here today, and if you've been enjoying this evening so far?
I wanted to see all your beautiful smiles. And actually, at Riverside, they have a meeting today with both committees, and I'm not really required there now. So I just thought, let me go along and see my friends at Trojans. And I'm absolutely delighted that Jackie is here. Yeah, because that's right. I attended GSK as area director, and we stayed on at the end of a meeting chatting. And I guess that was just about the time Jackie had been made redundant. So I'm absolutely delighted that you've made a decision to stick with Toastmasters.
I know.
Come along to Trojans.
So if anybody can get me a job, or you know, or any recommendations, I work in IT, or yeah, anything, gratefully appreciated.
What we can do is promise you confidence, a network, and friendship.
Well, I'll tell you one thing I do. I think when your role is made redundant, it really affects your confidence. But I had an ex-friend at GSK, and she said to me, because my role was eliminated, I had no choice. And she said, oh, when you go for interviews, just say, I decided to take the package. And it sounds so much more empowering. So yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anybody. So it's lovely to be here and have the glass of wine, because every day I'm waking up and thinking, will I get a job? You know, will I lose my house? Or, you know, all these kind of things. But, you know, I suppose we have to have gratitude for glass of wine and health and, you know.
And
those
good friends and Toastmasters. You're in a good place. Thanks, Jackie.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. With this, I will hand back to our president and Zoom master, Tanuj, so that he can conduct some urgent club business. Tanuj.
Thank you, Nish. Right, so first thing first, as you know, a couple of meetings ago, we elected some of our new club officers. So these are the people who are valiantly coming forward and choosing to help the club and in fact steer it in the new direction that we would we are in very desperate need of, because very soon we'll be going back to the physical meeting, you know, fingers crossed. And these would be the people who would champion us and help us understand where we would be going. Would we be going back to the church or not? And all those big decisions need to be made. But one thing is assured, and as has been testified today by Nish's Toastmaster skills today, every meeting you learn something new and you experience great knowledge and great friendships here. So that's definitely going to continue. With that in the backdrop, I have great privilege to announce that there is a person who's come forward to be our club president for the next year. And as these activities have to be done in a more formal setting, because we don't have much time left, and I cannot wait for the quorum, and I would assume Ruth's support on this kind of an exception-driven election tonight. But if nobody opposes the decision, I would assume that to be that position to be filled. But at the same time, I would reach out to all the other members of the club to assess if they want to either come forward, and if so, we would then have a formal election in the next meeting. So that's my thought on that, and happy for Ruth to say that no, Tanuj, you're doing it completely wrong. But I think having president is a very critical need of the club. So I think we should be all good with that. But because we have that in a way in the bag for now, I would like to share that we are still looking for a new treasurer for the club, and the other club positions we'll talk about. So if anybody wants to come forward for the role of a treasurer, I don't think many people are here who are not playing a role. But if you are one of those, this would be a good time to shout out your name and say that you'd be the chief finance officer of our club going forward. Until then, Carmen has very kindly agreed to support in that capacity. I'm just browsing through the gallery view to see if there's anybody who's not playing a role in the next committee year, but looks like there are very few people. And people who are not playing a role, I understand there are locational constraints that we might run into. So we would have to be mindful of that as well. Okay, I think I would assume the silence to be a no from all the people who are present here. Unless, Ruth, are you joining Trojans? And maybe we can consider your name in that way.
Let's put it this way, I'll be very closely associated.
Okay, cool.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, and we've never had, we've always appreciated your support and, your guidance, Ruth, so much appreciated. All right, so with that position still staying vacant, I am extremely delighted to share with you the person's name who's come forward to be the president of the club. And that person is, drum roll, Flora. Oh. So Trojans, behold your new president elect for now, unless somebody opposes in this forum, or I would reach out to others if anybody has any objection or they want to put their name forward. But I think Flora is a really good candidate. She's had a really good journey with us. I think it's been about a year, maybe a little bit more than that. But I've seen her contribution to the club in great ways, and how she comes forward to guide and support people. I'm sure all of those qualities are only going to grow, and we would experience a lot of that in her position as a president. Flora, would you like to come forward and share a few things with us? Anything you have in your mind about how you think your role is going to shape up and what you would like to experience in that position?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. First of all, I must admit you really build the suspense. So I think it's great how you've announced, and I was wondering at some point when will you announce it? So no, it is great. Thank you, Tanuj, and thank you for your support. Obviously, that was quite a difficult decision. I just thought some more experienced member would have put themselves forward for presidents, but as no one was actually taking the step, I just thought, why not me? And actually, it's for me a wonderful opportunity to just speak at every meeting and really, trying to build on the building on the leadership skill, and set my vision. I'm really keen on Toastmaster. I think there's so much more than the public speaking of Toastmaster, and really keen, to promote that and hopefully to improve the number of members and support everyone in their development.
Thank you, Flora. Congratulations. And yes, we definitely would be supporting you as club members. And especially now I'm relieved to say that I would be the immediate past president. So it is my responsibility to offer all the support that is needed for you to transition into your role and get comfortable with all the tools and processes that we utilize in our club and outside of the club as well. With that, we now, because of this good news, there is another sad news that we now have a vacancy in our club secretary role, because Flora had initially come forward as a club secretary. So I would open the floor again. If anybody wants to not put their name forward as a club secretary, we would take that forward and follow the same process to see if anybody has any opposition, or if anybody else who's not here tonight would like to put their name forward for that role. Okay, going once, going twice. Okay, all right, so we'll keep that position open for now. So as of today, we are blessed with a new club president. We have on the call right now, do we have Momo as well? Yes, so we have our 3 vice presidents here, and the club secretary and the treasurer role stay open. We do have Tai as our new sergeant d'arms, and we'll of course keep this position open to see if anybody wants to come forward. If not, we would in Toastmasters, as you might have experienced it today as well, we adapt and we evolve. We would definitely find solutions to these small challenges up ahead of us. Thank you again. I hand you back to Nishtha to take us into our network break. Nishtha.
Thank you very much, Tanuj, and congratulations, Flora. It's time to pour champagne, and which is why we need a network break. And it's 2028. Let's meet at 2039. I will give you 1 extra minute to come back and settle yourself, and bring back your glass of wine or gin and tonic, champagne in Flora's case. Thank you very much. See you in 10 minutes.
Hi, Dale.
Hello, Ruth.
Cup of tea.
So Ruth, I might be seeing you in the GSK club going forward.
Yeah, it looks like it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well,
Is GSK only for
It's a corporate club, yes.
Is GSK a closed member?
Actually, it probably is. Yeah, I mean, I guess the reason I went is because I went in the area director capacity, and Raki will be taking over from me, so she will be dealing with GSK after that time. But yeah, it was on one of those meetings where I met Jackie. And I remember telling her about Trojans as well, because I met her at the point where she'd just lost her job and found that news was quite upsetting. And what we do best in Toastmasters, I happened to be there, and at the end of the meeting everybody left and she was still there and I was too, and we managed to have a long conversation, and I told her about Trojans because she lived in Ely, but that was months ago. So actually it's good that she's here. Yeah.
We sometimes get people. Sorry, go ahead, Ruth.
Yeah, a lot of people, struggle during those times, and it's nice to have a community around you. So
yeah, absolutely. I can vouch for it. I've had great support from Trojans every time there's been some emergency like that, and I've definitely counted on a lot of people around.
Yeah, me too. I'm delighted about Flora. Fantastic news.
Yes.
I think technically you should have a quorum and a vote. I'm not going to oppose it. It's good that it's announced.
Yeah, no.
But I think you need to propose it to the club.
Correct. No, I've already communicated that on the club channel on the WhatsApp.
Be some kind of poll.
Yeah, in case anybody opposes it, we would take it forward. But yeah, that can be done.
I can't imagine anybody opposing it, but perhaps run a poll so that you've got a record of people voting.
Sure.
To cover yourself, yeah.
Yeah, okay, I'll do that. I think we lost a few more people in the network break, so it's just 9 of us here now.
We had 9 at Riverside last week, actually. I think in the summer period, it's a little bit like that sometimes.
Okay, yeah.
But quality meetings, so.
Always are.
Okay, I think we are back and ready to restart our meeting and have the second section of the meeting. Thumbs up if you want to hear more facts about your thumb. Great. I talked about animals, but I didn't talk about robots. And given my husband is a roboticist, he's on the other side, on the darker side, where he's trying to facilitate the robotic domination of the world. So has anyone been inside those big assembly lines, for automobile assembly lines, where you see this giant rails where the parts are moving and big giant robotic arms are fixing parts?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, at Mercedes-Benz World. I mean, does that count?
Yeah, sure.
They have the model of the car with all the parts, and yeah.
So while robots are very advanced now and they can do a lot of other things, and we keep talking about how automation is going to completely take over jobs and kill lots of professions and all that, it's not gonna be apocalyptic yet, not at least until robots develop a dexterity that's as advanced as human thumbs. That's because if you see assembly lines of all these big cars, Mercedes, Ford, and BMW, you'll see that there are big giant robotic arms that fix big parts, but it's actually the humans who go into those tight nooks and corners with wires, and then they will do the wiring and the circuitry of your car or any machine, because robots, however smart, cannot do the kind of things humans can. And it all comes down to this, our thumbs. And millions of dollars are spent each year in all kinds of industries where they are trying to develop, trying to give robots hands that are as advanced, thumbs that are as advanced as humans. But I can assure you that that's probably not going to happen for another 10, 15 or 30 years. So worry not, my fellow human beings. Right, now it's time for our table topics. An impromptu speech, and our table topics master tonight is Simon. Please welcome Simon to the digital stage.
Hi everybody. Excuse me. As you'll all be aware, table topics is a chance to speak, make up a story for anything up to 2 minutes on a topic or subject that I will give you. As you'll know, I'm quite idiosyncratic in my style, so there's no theme. And the questions I'm going to give you tonight, I want you to use your imagination. I want you to go on a flight of fantasy. I want you to trip the light fantastic with the answers. But at the same time, I also want an element of credibility in your responses. So don't go over the top. On that basis, my first question goes to our future El Presidente, Flora. Flora, your question is, how wide is the equator and how would you go about proving that dimension?
Thank you, Simon. So I was looking for a question with a lot of imaginary and fantasy, and now you brought me back to mathematics, and yeah, so it's a good question. I think you just tripped me. I love to actually measure the equator. I actually went and crossed that line when I was, and now I don't remember where I was, but I was in one of the country where you actually could cross the line, and that felt fantastic. And I have a picture where my partner at the time was on one side of the equator and I was on the other one. At the time, I didn't really think how to measure it, but I imagine that you could do one thing. You could actually go around and try to measure it, you know, really with the way of doing it. So you could really go deep into books and reading, you know, how you could do that, and probably go back to history and listening to all of the sailor or navigator that looked, you know, about the equator. So that's a very good question. Now make me think about my travel at the time and how I could do it next time I'm there. Thank you very much.
My next question goes to Jackie. Which is a more frightening scenario? That COVID escaped from a lab or that it came from a bat, and why?
So you are obviously into conspiracy theories. Let's have a little lull on that. I think it's probably neither. I think it's probably more frightening if it came from a lab, but I think personally that is highly unlikely. I think it is, if I had to choose one, it's probably going to come from a bat, because they do say that the disease was transmitted cross animals. I've heard the things about bats, but I thought it was said it was the proximity of animals in markets being near human beings, but I don't know for sure. One thing that is certain is that China's response to the COVID pandemic was quite admirable because they shut down things immediately. And I think in the UK, we could have taken a leaf from their, we could have taken a leaf from what China did. So COVID is very frightening, but hopefully we're coming out of the end of it. I've had my 2 jabs and I hope you all have as well. So thank you very much.
My next victim is Nish. Nish. According to Star Trek, space is the final frontier. But what is or was the first frontier?
What is the first frontier?
What is or was the first frontier?
The first frontier was when human beings stepped out of their caves and decided that they should stay put in one place, and how about they sow the seeds of all the grains that they have found and start growing crops. And perhaps that one event in the history of human beings changed the entire path, the entire journey. The reason we are sitting here on a Wednesday night on a summer evening, and we can just, you know, call a Pizza Express and order a delivery of pizza, has to go back to that one, the first human being thousands of years ago who decided that that's it. I have roamed enough. I am not going to go from cave to cave. I'm going to stay put. I'm going to grow crops. I'm going to grow some wheat and maybe domesticate some animals, which in a few thousands of years involved cows and goats. And then that gave us cheese. So tonight after this meeting, when I have a pizza, I'm going to think about that man who came up with that idea and convinced everyone around him that they should do that. And they should think about agriculture so that 12,000 years later, people like us who are, you know, attending a meeting on Zoom on their laptops can enjoy a pizza afterwards on a summer evening. I want to thank them because to me, that was the first frontier. And let me say that if that hadn't happened, no one in 1977 would have come up with the idea of sending out Voyager 1 into the space, which and that became our first frontier. In fact, let's take it back to 1969, and that's when we started our space exploration. So the scientists and everyone here in this room has that person to thank for that first frontier thought 12,000 years ago. Simon.
Thank you. My next question is to Ruth. Ruth, if you go on safari to Africa, you hope to encounter the big 5 animals, which are lion, leopard, rhino, elephant, and buffalo. However, if a visitor were to come to the UK, what would be the equivalent of the big 5 they should see in this country?
Oh, can I just recap on lion, leopard, rhino, buffalo, and the 5th?
Elephant.
Elephant. Okay. Wow. Fellow Toastmasters and most welcome guests. So on African safari, we have lions, leopards, rhinos, buffaloes, and elephants. So if you came to the UK, what's the equivalent? That's a good one. Lions. Rawr. Lions have to be those people that have those mad, scary hairstyles. You know, the ones that just come right out here? And maybe they color them pink or green or blue. So those would be the lions of the UK.
Then the leopards, they've got spots. So those are our people with freckles. You know, the freckly kind, the ginger hair and freckles. Those are the leopards of the UK. The elephant. Maybe the trees, the way the roots entwine and make interesting shapes. Maybe those are the elephants of the UK. You've seen them every day as you go on your walk along the river. The rhinos, they're fierce. Actually, in my last company, we had a rhino on the wall. It was a black rhino. They've got a lot of power. So who would that be? Who has the power in the UK? Could Boris Johnson be the rhino? I don't think so. Who else could it be? I don't know. I'd have to go to the weekly show of, oh God, what's that? Have I got news for you or something where they do all the caricatures? Because somebody there could do the caricature of the rhino. And then, of course, we have the buffalo. So who are the buffaloes of the UK? Well, buffaloes. Do you remember those traditional American belts? The big ones with the buffaloes? So, and perhaps the kids of the 60s, they wore those big buffalo belts. So maybe the youngsters growing up who haven't yet chosen their personalities, maybe they're going to come up to Mum, Nishta, and say, Mummy, I want a buffalo buckle for my birthday when I'm 7. And those are the buffaloes of the UK. So there you have it. The lions, the leopards, the rhinos, the buffaloes, and the elephants. Thank you. Just a topic for us.
My final question is to the Zoom master. So if somebody else could set the stopwatch against Tanuj. My question to you, Tanuj, is Mother Nature a tinkerer or an inventor?
Okay. Is Mother Nature a tinkerer or an inventor? I think I would side with Mother Nature being a tinkerer, because Mother Nature throws in slight surprises to us every now and then, be it in shape of earthquakes, floods, or COVID, if we assume that to be a natural phenomenon. Because if Mother Nature were inventing things, our lives would not be able to sustain the routine that we all love and appreciate. It's always good to have some surprises, but I think the slight tinkering that Mother Nature throws at us, I definitely think are the right kind of balance that our lives require, or maybe all the other organisms require. Because if it was not there, how would we try out the different colors of nature? Otherwise, everything would have maybe one same color, and we would probably no different from being colorblind or not. If it was not a tinkerer, we would not try out different flavors of food. Imagine all the lovely pizza that Nishta is going to try out, or the different animals that people might be into eating. They all would be the same. So I definitely think Mother Nature is a tinkerer and not an inventor, because if she was not doing that, we would not have all the pleasant surprises that we witnessed today. Thank you, Simon. That's a lovely topic.
Madam Toastmaster, that's the end of my table topics questions. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Simon. And I'm going to call upon the timekeeper again to report timetables times.
Thanks, Nisha. And I'm actually going to take this opportunity to speak through the timings of the main speeches as well. So Momo took 4 minutes and 17 seconds for her icebreaker speech. Irina was also interestingly doing an icebreaker speech, but she took 7 minutes and 5 seconds. But because we had the liberty of time today, and I did falter on my job to allow her more time on her speech. Coming on to the table topics, our first speaker was Flora. She spoke for 1 minute 23 seconds. Second speaker was Jackie. She spoke for 1 minute 30 seconds. Third in was Nish. She spoke for 2 minutes and 9 seconds. Talking about space, she just dove right into that. And fourth speaker was Ruth. She spoke for 3 minutes. And I believe I was the last one speaking. And I believe it would have been slightly over a minute because I saw a yellow sign somewhere.
1:35.
Thank you.
Thank you, Tanuj. Could we have voting for our best table topics? Is that ready? The poll's ready?
Give me 1 quick second. Sorry, I was speaking, so I couldn't finish my thing on that. Give me 1 second.
In case you're wondering why we didn't have voting for the best speaker, it's because we had 2 speakers today and we don't go for a vote if we have less than 3. So that's why I didn't call for votes on the speeches. And I'm sorry if I said timetables in my last link because I keep thinking about timetables because of my son.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Before we ask Sumit, our table topics evaluator, to give his report, I'll quickly tell you the kind of sports you can't play if you don't have a thumb. So you can't play any racket sports, you can't be an archer, and as Simon said, you can't throw that bowling ball in 10-pin bowling, you can't fly a kite, and you can't wear your helmet or ring the bell on your cycle. With that, I'd like to invite Sumit to the digital stage and give us his report on table topics.
Thank you, everyone. Before I start, I just want to confirm how much time do I have today for this evaluation? Because I think it seems to be varying depending on number of people. So is it?
So Sumit, in general, we assign 6 to 8 minutes, so you have plenty of time. I think you can carry on with that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thanks a lot, Madam Toastmaster. Now, we had a very interesting table topics, and that interesting table topics is either when Simon is giving a Toastmaster speech or a table topic speech, or when he is giving questions for those table topics. So those were one of those days when Simon was on the other side of the table. Now, to start with, it was Flora, and he asked Flora about how wide is the equator. And I really liked how Flora started by connecting this with a personal story. How has she been close to equator and how she's interested in it, and connected the whole question with the travels, the personal travels that she has done. And that was a very nice seg that she did, and not lulled into some sort of confusion with a very technical question that Simon had posed to her. And she took some time before she started answering. And I really liked the structure of it, because she was asking some rhetorical questions. What I would advise Flora is, if she can, when Flora was starting to answer that question, she was a bit numbed by the whole question, because the question itself, like if that was that would have been posed to me, I would have been like exactly same sort of a scenario. But I think she did very well to start with. It was just her expressions were a bit of a confusion, but like the answer was absolutely right, in the sense that she was connecting it with the stories, connecting it with her rhetorical questions. So I really like that approach of Flora. Second question was posed to Jackie about the COVID, whether it's whether it invented in the lab or it was started through a bat. And Jackie was absolutely off to the start as soon as the question was there, and she knew her stuff about the COVID, and she was absolutely bang on with whatever she knew about it. And I really like her confidence. It didn't seem like that she that she's just starting the Toastmaster journey. She seems a very accomplished speaker, that she was completely unfazed with the question and was absolutely addressing the question posed by Simon. I like the voice modulation of Jackie, and she was the one who also used the word of the day within the table topics. And probably like within the table topics, I think she was the only one who had used the word of the day. So I really commend her on that. And that shows like she is able to think on her feet. The only recommendations that I would have is if she can add a bit more humor within the table topics, because this table topics is all about humorous sort of a seg that you can create into it. Simon questions might seem like a very serious questions, but I can tell you, like, you can take any question to a more humorous, entertaining, or those sort of endings. Next up was niche, whether what was the first frontier if Star Trek was the final frontier. I absolutely loved Nish's smile when she was answering the question. It seemed like a very accomplished speaker. She had all the facts and figures, but whether they were right or not, I can't really say those things about 1967, 1979, and 12,000 years ago. It seems like it was flowing like she knew it. She had a very strong story that she connected with the growing of crops. She just got one idea and she just rolled with it. And that's what the table topics is all about. Just create another seg and go with your own interpretation of it. And that's what we need to learn. At least I need to learn from speakers like Nish as to how to go about doing that. She also took some time to start with, and she was absolutely within the time 2 minutes 9 seconds. If I had to give any recommendations to Nish, there are not many, to be honest, considering the quality of table topics or the table topics answer that she had given. If I have to challenge her, I would just say add a bit more voice modulation within that. I know it can be a bit tough within the table topic space, but if she has to challenge herself, she can go and add a bit more of hand gestures if she can. I completely agree. Those hand gestures within the digital format can be a bit challenging depending upon how you have put your cameras and laptops. Next up was Ruth with the Safari to UK. And she was very cleverly, she asked a question, repeated the question. And what I was amazed was all the hand gestures that Ruth did. It was completely amazing. She made the gesture of all the animals and made it very funny, and compared with all sorts of animals, comparing those to the trees and other things within UK. So I really like that thing. And she even managed to bring Boris Johnson within her speech. So I thought that was a very, very funny seg. And she was asking a lot of rhetorical questions. These rhetorical questions, one, help us, the listeners, engage with the speaker, but it also gives ideas to Ruth herself when she's posing these questions. So that is something that we should also be employing when we are into these sort of table topics. I haven't got any recommendations to Ruth, except probably shorten the time a little bit, so that because I could see the timekeeper showing that Spider-Man very often to her. So like that was the only recommendation to her. Next up was Tanuj, and he also very cleverly repeated the question and then went on to seg the speech with Nishtha's speech as well. So that was a very clever sort of a move, and it also shows that how you can connect one speech to another if you're not able to get many ideas over there. He also asked a lot of rhetorical questions within his speech. And he concluded his speech very nicely. So in all the table topics, it is like a mini speech. We have to be completing the speech with a beginning, body, and an ending. So that is something which some of the accomplished speakers have shown, and that is something we should be taking it forward with us for all the other people who didn't really participate in it. Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you very much, Sumit. And to answer your question, all the figures that I did give you are correct, purely by chance, because I'm obsessed with space and moon landing and Apollo programs. So I'm very lucky that Simon gave me that question. So I do know the dates of the launch of Voyager 1, Voyager 2, Apollo programs and all those things. Great. So could I call upon the timekeeper again to give us the times of all the evaluations today? Tanuj.
Thank you, Nish. Right, so we had Cam evaluating Momo's speech, and Cam took 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Incidentally, Dil, who was evaluating Irina's speech, also took 3 minutes, 20 seconds. Sumit took 8 minutes and 12 seconds for the evaluation of the table topics. Thank you.
Thank you, Tanuj. And now it's time to vote for the best evaluator of the evening. Do we have the poll ready?
Thank you.
Okay, continuing my obsession with the thumb this evening. Now imagine if one of you finds themselves in front of Darth Vader and he says, come over to the dark side, and you refuse. And as a punishment, he says, I'm going to either chop off your hand or your leg. What do you think you should go for? I know it's a hard choice, but which one do you think you should go for? Dil says leg. That is the right choice, I would say, Dil, because apparently if you do have to lose a limb, then choose a leg. Why? Because when you lose a thumb in an accident or your hand in an accident, just losing the thumb means you lose 40% of the functionality of your hand. And the good news is that the medical sciences are so advanced today that surgeons can actually fashion a thumb out of your big toe. And there are lots of people who got their thumbs back by allowing the doctors to use their big toes. And I am not joking. This is not graphic or gory or unpleasant to look at. I strongly recommend you Google the photos of thumb from big toe. I mean, come up with your own words, and you will see lots of people who have thumbs which were actually their big toes. And it's actually fascinating. It's amazing what human beings can do today in 2021. So do Google the photos after you're done with the meeting, and I promise it won't be graphic or gory. So with that, I will invite our grammarian, Flora, to tell us how we did on grammar and our language skills. Please welcome Flora.
Thank you very much, Nishta. Thank you. And thank you to all of the speakers for the wonderful use of language and expression today. So I'm glad actually that the word of the day was used 3 times. So thank you very much to Nishta, Jackie, and Sumit. They are the one that I've recorded. Hopefully haven't missed anyone else, but do tell me if I've missed. The second point is also I want to really commend Momo for use of language in speech. I really like, like I was looking for vivid expression on how to actually be better at describing actions in my own speech. So I like in Momo's speech, I like, first of all, the title, My Story Coming Out of the Bubble. I thought that was a very nice expression. She also, when she was explaining, how she decided to change from being an introvert, not speaking to anyone, and she used out of the blue, taking the plunge to volunteer. So I thought that was very, very descriptive with the change. I like how, Cam commented during evaluation, how she described Toastmaster Trojan as energetic people with positive vibration. I thought that was also a very nice use of words. I like as well when she described how she felt really nervous and she ran away from the club, but at the end, the call for action with the let's hope we can travel together. I thought that was as well very, very poetic. So I really commend her for that. In Irina's speech, what I liked was the double meaning of ownership. So initially when she explained she had a strong feeling on ownership, in my mind, I straight away related it to taking responsibility, but actually she really meant, having ownership of things and really having think that she likes that are own things she belongs and she doesn't want anyone to touch them. But at the end, she made a reference to that she actually allow her to take responsibility of the things. So I thought that was a nice way of connecting the double meaning. And I like as well the reference to my ownership zone. That was a nice expression. I would just say in terms of Irina's speech, usually she used a bit more descriptive and nice word. I thought that I was expecting a bit more, but it was really nice using the double meaning of ownership. Other area that I want to report on was in the table topic evaluation. I like as well the description or the language from the table topic evaluators summit. And what I like as well is really using certain expression I already described. So for example, how we react to a question. So for example, for myself, I was a bit numb. Jackie was off the start and Nish was rolling with an idea. So again, I thought that was a quite nice way of describing and nice use of language. So I haven't reported a lot of hum. I haven't counted a lot of hum. There has been through the meeting, but nothing too distracting. So well done. Thank you. Yes, so I think that's all for the report tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Flora. And before I hand it back to our president, I'd like to leave everyone here with a thought or a visual. Now imagine if we didn't have thumbs, how would the Facebook like button look like? Yeah, would it be like this? How would we say thumbs up or thumbs down? And how would you propose properly? How would you hold the ring properly if you wanted to propose? So that would look awkward if you try to do like this, and then how would you hold the ring, right? So you need your thumb. With that thought, I'd like to hand it back to our president for the awards, unless I can put Ruth on the spot to be our general evaluator, if she has any thoughts or any words to say about the meeting. Sorry for the, for putting you on the spot, Ruth.
Wow, that is putting someone on the spot. What can I say? I didn't plan to come. I'm so glad that I did. What a fabulous evening we've had. So maybe this is not a traditional GE, but I can say, Nishta, you kept us entertained with thumbs. So many interesting facts. And I'm for certain going to Google. And I never thought about all the functions of it. And when you mentioned about thumbs being made of big toes, I don't know. Well, I have very unusual thumbs. They're just very straight. And people have said to me that they're kind of an unusual shape. And I was starting to think, oh, maybe mine could have been made from toes. And I didn't know it. I don't know. But so, Sumit, yeah, you gave a really nice kind of summing up of people's speeches. We had the inauguration of a new president, and I've been praying this week that you would get someone. And so, Flora, I'm absolutely delighted to hear your news. Momo's icebreaker, wow. I mean, that's a privilege to share in someone's icebreaker. And you moved me with your language. It was a real, like, a speech from the heart. And when you talked about the kind of people that you were among and the kind of person that you were becoming, that put kind of goosebumps on me. And I got a tear in my eye. And any speaker that can move someone emotionally has great talent. So you have a great career ahead of you. Tanuj, so delighted to hear that you're back from India, because I didn't know whether you were still out there or not until I spoke to you this week. Dill and Irina, lovely that they're still both kind of phoning in from various locations and still part of Trojans. A real surprise that I saw Jackie today, and she even managed to use lull. And what I did notice is that, didn't you all notice when she was speaking and she was doing her table topic, what an amazing smile came on her face? So keep speaking and keep coming up here, because that's what I notice. Sometimes first it's a smile, then it's a chuckle, and then it's a laugh. And we're here to see things, to look at things. Table topic questions. So original, and they really got us thinking. And it's funny that, was it Flora that went to the mathematician mode? And I was not in mathematician mode at all. And maybe that's because I'm just not mathematical at all. So when I thought of measuring the equator, I was thinking of, maybe taking the all the oranges that I eat every morning and putting them together. And I was wondering just how many oranges you would have to put in a line to make the equator. Irina, I love your personal stories. Wow. The only child and the perspective that you gave us, but the way you draw us in and the relationship, and I could visualize your father waiting on the doorstep and the timing and how irritating and annoying that is, but at the same time, we love them to bits, right? And so it's not a standard general evaluation. All I can say, it is a small group, and what a fabulous evening we've had. And I'm certainly going to be looking at my thumbs in a totally different way. And I probably left Dill out because she's blacked out at the moment, but it was lovely to see her smiley present. So that's my general evaluation. Not a normal one, but thank you everybody for making it a delightful evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. I just thought I could take liberty with you since you've been visiting our club regularly, and you know everyone. It was a very short meeting, not many roles, so I thought maybe you could, and you did a great job. Thank you very much. With that, I'd like to hand back to our president, Tanuj. Thank you very much.
You're on mute. We can't hear anything. Where somebody's on
You
mute.
are on mute, Tanuj. We didn't hear a word.
Sorry, my apologies. Not good on Zoom Master's part. Thank you, Nish. What a fabulous meeting. We learned so much about the value of our thumbs. Can I request everybody to bring their thumbs forward? We'll probably, and somebody could take a screenshot. Maybe Nish, you can take a screenshot and we'll post it on our group chat and dedicate tonight's meeting to the great knowledge of thumbs that you gave us. Thank you so much. And if not, I'll probably take a screenshot from the video recording. So don't worry about that. Thank you. You really led the meeting in a great way. Am I audible? Hello? Am I audible? Okay, great. I would pick on what Ruth just mentioned, what she was saying about Jackie's participation, about how it starts as a smile and turns into a chuckle and how it evolves. I have said this many times to some of you in private settings. I'm the happiest at 9:45 p.m. on Wednesday evenings after the club meetings, because coming to these meetings definitely, boost up my confidence level, my morale, whatever I'm going through in my life. These couple of hours definitely ignite that spark. So thank you everybody who have come here tonight, and of course we love to have you every 2 weeks. With that, I would like to announce the winners of the 2 key awards for tonight's meeting. So the first one was, I'm just checking my notes. Yes, for the evaluations. So drum roll. And the best evaluator tonight is Sumit. Congratulations, Sumit. Thank you for your great evaluations for the table topics. I know it was equally good table topics and, much better attempt. I won't count myself, but I really enjoyed everyone's participation in it. So good job. Thank you. The next one is the table topics itself. So drum roll. And it is the descriptive table topics attempt from Ruth. Thank you so much for painting such lovely pictures, and kind of, it was almost as if you were taking us through some kind of an exhibition with different animals, and I could almost imagine you being like a tour guide showing us different monuments and saying that this looks like Bojo and so on and so forth. So thank you so much and congratulations.
Thank you. I think it accesses the 5-year-old inside of us. That's what I love. It's like it allows the child to come out and play, and you just don't know where your mind is going to take you. And it's beautiful. Thank you.
We should all tap into the inner child. And with that, I think we are done with the club business. Just to remind you, we meet again after 2 weeks. Please feel free to book yourself for any of the roles. And congratulations to the new committee, because you now have got a great leader in Flora, at least for now, unless someone contests it. I hope not, but we'll see. But at the same time, I'm really happy for all of you, because between Flora, Nishtha, Sumit, Momo, we've got a really good set of people who would be able to drive the club to greater heights. And I wish you all the best. And of course, position wise as well, I'm there to support you, but you have mine, and I speak for the club, all our support to take us to in a new direction. Thank you very much. You have a good night, stay safe, and see you soon. Take care.
Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye.